where you're from, and we'll just go from there.
Well, I was born and raised in Cowan Falls. It's a small town in Abbeville County. When I was growing up, it was a town of pretty much only one red light. You know, it was an industrial town. Textiles was our main source of jobs, and that was the main source for the town's tax revenue and those sorts of things. So, you know, born and raised there. I'm a 2006 graduate of Cowan Falls High School, and played sports there. Played high school baseball and football.
And how long did you always know you were going to be interested in law enforcement? How'd you get interested in law enforcement?
Well, growing up, one of my favorite shows was Cops. And then, you know, you had Emergency 911, and I'm a big fan of Andy Griffith. And, you know, so it's, you know, law enforcement has always been one of those things that was intriguing for me. You know, I was always considered the military as well, which I never did. So law enforcement was the next best thing for me.
And so how'd you get involved in law enforcement?
Well, in 2009, I started my career with the South Carolina Department of Corrections. I submitted a couple of applications and resumes to other full-time Class 1 law enforcement agencies. And one day, Charles Goodwin, Sheriff of Abbeville County, gave me a call and offered me a job. So I started my career as a Class 1 law enforcement officer with Abbeville County Sheriff's Office. A Class 1 officer has full arrest powers in their jurisdiction. So essentially, it just means we have full arrest powers of enforcing all laws. You have different classifications of certifications, but to be a sworn law enforcement officer to make arrest powers, you have to be a Class 1 through the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy. Well, when I left Abbeville County Sheriff's Office, I spent a real short stint with the city of Honeypath, the town of Honeypath. I was there for a really minute amount of time, it was a couple of months, and then I left there and went to Anderson County Sheriff's Office under John Skipper was the sheriff at the time there. And I left Anderson County Sheriff's Office and went back to Abbeville County under Sheriff Ray Watson. You know, when opportunities present themselves that you think is going to be beneficial for you, and especially with your career progression, and you know, some of your larger agencies have more opportunities for career progression than others. So, you know, when I left Abbeville County for the second time, I had intentions of trying to finish my degree, and so I took a school resource officer position with the town of Ivor Police Department. And so I spent a short time as a school resource officer at Star Ivor Middle School there, and then I left there and came here.
And so you've been here how long now?
I'm in my third year with the city of Belton, yes.
And you mentioned Mayberry. Is it like being the sheriff of Mayberry here in Belton, or you got more serious crimes to deal with?
Well, it's a little bit more serious than Mayberry. You know, we have to deal with more things than a loaded goat and Otis. If it was that simple, then we would be doing okay. But no, our crimes vary in severity. I mean, we have everything from homicide to petty theft. You know, it's one of those things to where we're in a central part of the county where, you know, we're the second largest municipality outside the city of Anderson.
How big is your force here?
We have 13 currently. That's myself included. So, you know, we have, it is 10 officers for road patrol assignments, and then we also have 3 school resource officers. We recently pulled some statistics from Anderson County's telecommunications centers for our responses last year, and even during a COVID year, we responded to around 8,600 calls.
That's a lot of calls for 13 people.
That is a lot of calls for 13 people, and keep in mind, 3 of those 9 months out of the year is assigned to a school. So it is a lot of calls for 10 officers, yes.
And do you feel like you have good support from your council and administration and all here in Belton?
Absolutely, absolutely. And
how important is that when you're a sheriff?
Well, I mean, it's obviously important. You know, you have to have that relationship, and you know, they can only do what they can do. You know, we only get so much revenue, and you know, when budgets are divvied out, then you know, and approved, we only have what we have. And so, The thing I really like about it is the open line of communication between myself, the mayor, and the city manager, and the council. Because, it's all about compromise. I may bring a proposal to the table, they bring a proposal to the table, and if we can both leave happy, then I think that's what it's all about.
What about your family here? Is your family here? Or?
Well, my wife is a native of Belton, and so are my in-laws. They've been here their entire life.
Tell people who they are, just in case people are watching.
Well, my in-laws are Ricky and Christy Jennings, and my wife is Haley. And they are, like I said, they're natives of Belton. They've been here their entire life. My wife's a graduate of BHP High School, and so is my father-in-law. Yeah.
So they're probably thrilled that you're new police chief here.
They are, and it's a great opportunity. It's Belton is a great place to raise a family, work, and live. It really is.
And what if somebody came up and just wanted to get to know you? What are some things people would want to know about you? What are your hobbies? You just mentioned to me, tell you about your football preferences and all this. Tell some people some things about you that they might not know normally there, Ross.
Well, I try to be a very approachable person. If someone sees me out in the community, just come up and speak. And I love to have a conversation. And a lot of what we do as law enforcement to begin with is educational. A lot of people have misconceptions of what they think something is that we want to try to get some clarity for them. And so the biggest thing is, if you see me out in the community, or if you see any of my officers out in the community, interact with them, and that's the only way we're ever going to bridge the gap between our community and our law enforcement. But as far as me, I'm an avid football fan. I'm a born and bred Gamecock fan. My wife's a BHP graduate. I enjoy going to BHP games and those types of things. So, enjoy spending time with my family. Got 4 girls between my wife and I, and so they keep us busy. They age in ranges from 12 to 5, and they're all girls. So we have our hands full for sure.
Where would you like to see the department 5 years from now? Do you have any a plan you'd really like to see put in place to move y'all ahead?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that we need to do that I don't necessarily think's been done in years past, and that's in no shape, form a knock to any previous administration whatsoever. But one of the things that I think that we should utilize more is our grant system. We really need to try to get in tune and submitting grants and those sorts of things that we qualify for, because we are a smaller department with a smaller budget. And so any funding that we can get and receive that's going to be beneficial from a technology standpoint to an equipment standpoint to anything, I think we need to really dig into federal grants and state grants, those sorts of things. Being a smaller department, we can't offer lucrative incentive packages. We can't offer lucrative pay and those sorts of things. So that was my number one goal, to make this somewhere that people want to come work and want to stay. I'm not so naive to believe that we're going to keep everyone that we currently have for their entire career, and that's okay. Because if they have an opportunity that's going to be better for them and their family, then we're going to wish them well. But just working on building our stability and retention.
And has your experience been good with cooperative efforts throughout the county? If y'all have to cooperate with the county, has it been pretty good law enforcement cooperation?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, laying here on my desk is a mutual aid agreement with the town of Honeypath and Chief Bozeman. It's already has both of our signatures on it. We just got to get the mayor's on there. So yeah, I mean, the relationships that we have with Williamston, Honeypath, and the sheriff's office is second to none. During my 3 years here, there's never been an instance to where we needed one of the agencies to respond or needed some of their assistance that we may not have access to, that they've ever turned us down. It's the working relationship with the department heads and amongst the road guys themselves, guys and gals. It's a really good thing. It really is.